can squish you. We're gonna make it a little cooler.
Why else would it be here?
Air suspension on this whole truck and trailer.
Truck and trailer?
This motor is smoked.
Runs like a dream, just no power.
I think like a 12-valve Cummins.
Oh, wow.
Man, I'm ready to get this back on the road. I just want to go around the neighborhood with the kids. I hear you're the guy when it comes to golf carts.
We make these things fast, make them loud, race them.
You race them.
Oh yeah, man, they're fast.
You get me excited on this. Ryan's telling me this thing could possibly do a wheelie.
Can't just have him walking away with some normal cart.
What?
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
How you doing?
What's up, man? What in the world do you guys have here?
Brought you a 1953 White with a 1951 Fruhoff tanker. The tanker yanker from St. Louis, Missouri.
Man, that is cool. This ain't something you see every day.
No, sir, it ain't.
You know, like I say, you never know it's going to roll through the gate. Prime example, today, a 1953 tanker truck. This is the type of truck that gets me excited. The thing looks good, looks like fresh paint, everything on it.
Yes,
right?
it is.
So what's in the tanker?
Nothing, it's just a promotional tanker. It used to haul gasoline back in its day.
We actually have 34 Peterbilt trucks, just like this color here, that we run in St. Louis, delivering fuel every day. So we take this thing to parades and stuff, and people love it. The truck and trailer combo gets a lot of attention, but we've convinced the owners to make it a little bit cooler.
So you just want it to look good, promote business.
Yeah.
And have fun.
Yeah.
It's a company vehicle in their second generation. I want to make it comfortable for the third generation to be able to go cruising.
And that's where you come into play,
All
Bill.
right. So what you guys got under the hood? Is that one of the upgrades we need to do?
It's a Whopper.
Let's check it out. Oh, there.
Yeah.
It's all original stock motor, 150 horsepower. Runs like it's got air brakes on it. Oh, you're going to come out at 80 years old dropping that thing around town.
What do you guys think about air suspension on this whole truck and trailer?
Truck and trailer?
It'd be like floating on a cloud.
Man, you guys wanted something to promote your business. To be able to just pull up somewhere and just drop it down a little bit,
That would
man,
be
that
so
would
sweet.
be right.
Who wouldn't like that?
Right. You know, we bagged a lot of things around here. You don't drive all this way just to, get some stacks put on the back or just an engine. But this whole combination of engine, wheels, tires, and bagging this truck, there won't be another one like this. Man, we've never worked on anything like this before. This gets me excited.
This is awesome. The owners know we're bringing it down here, but they have no idea what you're getting ready to do. It's going to be a surprise.
Man, that's cool. We're definitely going to surprise them.
Yeah.
Let's go make it official.
Appreciate it.
They got a badass old truck, but it's not up to today's standards. Not just anybody can hop in a vehicle like this and know how to shift gears, push in the clutch, do that, and steer. 25-year-olds, maybe even 30-year-olds these days can't even drive a standard. So, of course, make it cooler, but we're going to make it driver-friendly, have some air conditioning, have some power steering, and a lot of power under the hood. We've worked on big projects in the past, but nothing like this. With a this big, those fine little details that were this small on other projects are now this big. Every part and piece we put on here, you're going to see big time. This gets everybody excited. When you see cool stuff like this come in the shop, you know you're going to get to make it even cooler. That's what we're in business for.
Man, this thing's like a time capsule. I sure it's a handful to drive. Everything's made out of metal. This thing's hauled some stuff.
Hey, like the old tanker.
It's cool.
A lot of stuff we mess with you don't see every day. But this, I've never seen.
Man, it's clean. It's classic. But this motor is smoked.
Right? This is a trucking companies, they take it to parades and just promote business. A cool little toy for them, basically.
No doubt. It's unique.
But we're going to make it a little cooler.
Why else would it be here?
So, you know,
what you got in mind?
One of the first things we're going to do is take out this engine trans, replace it with the new diesel automatic transmission, tilt column, AC, you know, make it comfortable to drive. New axle, new wheels, new tires, stacks coming out the back.
Right on. That would be cool, man. That'd be a good look.
We definitely got some upgrades going on up here, right?
Yeah, just a few.
Check out the back.
Wow. I get paid by the hour.
Cool stuff, man.
Cutting it in half or what?
No. What you don't see is one of these with air suspension to be able to drop it. Yeah. You know, not sitting all the way flat on the ground, but just so it looks good rolling through the parade.
Cruising down the street like that. That's gonna be even nicer.
And comfortable. Mm-hmm. So we'll just cut front axle out, rear axle, and trailer axle. Smooth the rails, and we're just gonna totally start over. We'll build a 4-link on the rear, 4-link on the truck, electric brakes on the back, just like a modern trailer.
Yeah. Keep the retro look, but just do the modern suspension.
Yeah. When it rolls up, man, people are just gonna lose their mind. What we'll do is put the truck in one bay and the trailer in the body shop bay, so it's the only place it'll fit, right?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do this. We have to use one of our biggest bays to tear down this tanker. First things first, we gotta lift the cab off the chassis. Even though this truck's huge, it's the same process. Just being extra careful while you do it, because everything on here can squish you.
You know, it's pretty cool taking apart old trucks like this, because you get to see how far we've come. As far
Rubber in this at all, huh?
No, it was bolted down solid, man.
And they're really concerned about driver comfort back then, right?
Not even. So we got everything off the frame now, the cab's up. My only concerns I do have is how heavy this motor is. Fingers crossed, this old forklift right here is going to yank it on out. What we got going on back here? It's hitting on this bracket right here. It's good. Tone. Hard to believe this truck was driving 2 days ago. Here it is, bare frame now.
We got the tanker completely tore apart. It's down to frame rails. It's not a 18-wheeler, but it's still a ton of weight. So I'm gonna get the chipboard out, put it up against the frame, get a couple of measurements, design a rear hanger which holds the rear suspension to the frame. I got the hangers all laid out for the old tanker.
Oh, that big tanker that just came in?
Yeah. I want these to bolt in the factory hanger spot where the leaf springs used to be. They need to be super strong. So let's burn this out of 5/16 plate.
5/16. All right, got it. Bill wants it laid out, and I'm ready to cut it out. That template Bill gave me, I'm gonna lay it on top of here and just transfer the punches. That way I know the holes will be in the exact same spot. The die has a little small point at the very bottom of it, so all I do is just set it in there. Alrighty.
We just got our saddles back. Everything looks real nice on them. Did a good job. Go ahead and bolt these on. Now that I got the saddles on, we can go ahead and continue with the rear suspension.
As good as this tanker truck when I'm 70. However, not everything looks so good. These axles, they're not gonna work.
What you got here, man?
So this morning I went off to the junkyard, found an old truck that robbed the axle out. Yeah, nice. Exactly what we needed. Check it out. We got the single speed axle with hydraulic disc brakes, this thing is going to stop good. You know, anybody can get in and drive and not have to worry about the air brakes or anything like that.
Man, that's nice. That's definitely what we needed right there for this build.
So I think what we'll do is just slide the bed back, tilt it down so the tire's barely touching the ground. We'll cut the U-bolts.
Okay.
Pick it right back up. I'll go drop this off so it's not in our way.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to get the torch, man, get everything ready.
Yeah. I'll slide the bed back.
All right.
Cut the brake hose bracket. And just cut the brake line back about a foot, like where the crossing member. We need off this chassis, I mean, we got the rear axle, rear drive shaft to hook up to this rear end. We even got some emergency brake parts. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave this loaded up, take it right back to the scrap yard, be out of our way. We only need to replace the axle because the old chassis on the tanker is in good shape. Not that much more. 1, 2. Just as equally important to the hangers were our brackets on the rear end. That's where all the power from the ground transfers to the frame itself. Good thing I got my good welder right here.
Welding something like this, it's really important. There's going to be a lot of weight. You want to make sure everything's prepped good. You have good penetration when you have good prep. Penetration is the next thing. You want to make sure your machine's turned up high enough. You're going to penetrate both pieces of metal. You got good form. You're comfortable. ABC of welding, always be comfortable. When you're comfortable, you're going to weld better.
One of the things I love about the custom game is just the scale of some of our builds. It can change so radically from build to build. On one hand, you got just this massive thing. But then you can go completely to the other end of the spectrum. And I've had this golf cart in my garage for quite some time. Me and the kids will decorate it for Halloween. Make it in kind of like a hayride. The last hayride went haywire. I got about a half a mile around the house and it totally quits. Man, I'm ready to get this back on the road.
I bet you are.
Had a couple people work on it over the last year and a half. No luck. Man, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
See you later.
So a friend of mine was telling me about this golf cart guy, Ryan. Not only gets them running, but he does some crazy stuff to them too. Kind of like we do with cars, he does with golf carts. I hear you're the guy I need to see when it comes to golf carts. That's what they say. Love cruising around the neighborhood with my kids, my wife, but man, it's just been sitting in the corner of my garage for over a year now. Just shot. Something's going on with it, and I'm just super tied up at my shop right now. Oh, I bet. I'd love to just give it to you, and you get it running for me, man.
Well, we can definitely get you fixed up. You brought it to the right place. I'm one of the 3 owners of Golf Carts Modified. Been doing golf carts for about 7 or 8 years now. Started out as a hobby, turned into a business. Say more, I mean, everybody drives them on the street, takes them to the beach, they go camping. I don't even own a set of golf clubs. I got 9 golf carts and no clubs. And we make these things fast, make them loud, race them.
You race them?
Oh yeah, man, they're fast, especially electric ones. I mean, we got one electric one that'll do 70 miles an hour. I mean, it gets a little sketchy at 70. Yeah. That car belongs to a 13-year-old girl, runs 40 miles an hour, and will pop a 3-foot wheelie for about 60 yards.
Now you're talking, man. Ryan's telling me this thing could possibly do a wheelie and haul ass. You know, I'm hearing all this, and this is something I'm really interested in. You get me excited on this, man. I was just coming here just to get it going, but you can do something like that with this.
We do what you do, just on a smaller scale. You want to go crazy? We'll go crazy. Let's check out what you got, man. 36-volt series cart. Oldie but a goodie. I mean, we definitely upgrade this. Bill has pretty common golf cart. He's got an E-Z-GO TXT. We like working on a TXT because they have a steel chassis. They're much easier to customize. You can do a lot more with them. And nowadays with powder coating, you can make them last just as long as any aluminum frame cart. What we can do is we can get rid of all these heavy lead acid batteries, go back in with a lithium, jump voltage. We can go all the way from 48 all the way up to 72, cut half the weight, and add double the power.
Dang, and that's what makes you do a wheelie or what?
That's step 1. You also got to add a motor and controller. If you want to roll fat, AC stuff is the way to go now. It's instant torque. It's the most efficient system you can buy. Think about your big electric cars. All of that stuff's AC. You're pretty much building a miniature electric car.
I love it, man. I love it.
You know, Bill, if we're going to be into it, man, we probably should upgrade that suspension. You don't want to be coming down on that thing after a 3-foot wheelie. We can add some coilovers to it, put a long travel on it, make it really ride nice.
Man, Ron, I'm usually the one selling suspension, so I definitely know what you're talking about. We gotta have that.
Yes, sir. You know, and if we're going to do that and make it look cool, might as well go ahead and throw on a new set of wheels and tires and really just change the whole look of the car. They're not bad, but if we're going to go all out, we might as well go all out.
Yeah, so much for just dropping it off and getting it fixed, huh?
Oh, no, we're going to fix it. It's getting fixed. This is going to get upgraded a little bit.
All right.
This thing's been through some better days.
You know, I came in looking for not even a little upgrade, just get it running right, make it reliable.
It's been in several places. Looks like he's had some fun with it.
I just want to go around the neighborhood with the kids. But after talking to Ryan, him, you know, kind of sell me on a couple things.
Just pick that bad boy up.
I'm really getting excited about going all in on this golf cart.
And we will be keeping that part. Old school lead acid. A big thing with lead acid batteries, they have to be constantly filled with water. And if you live somewhere in the south like we do, these things are always evaporating water. These batteries weigh 59 pounds a piece, so we're shaving 200 pounds out of the cart. I'm not gonna have to go to the gym today. Yeah, that one's seen some better days. We're pretty much down to bare metal. The only thing left to do is remove the rear axle and the front axle and get it ready for powder coat. Boom!
That is 7 7/8. We got the 4-link done on the 53 tanker. Took off all the old leaf springs and we're replacing it with a big air spring. You can't ride on anything better than air. What we're going to do is start off making our upper bag mount, and then once that's located, we can put our lower bag mounts in place right up to it. So it look pretty center from your angle back behind me?
Yes, sir.
Center of our bag mount right there. On this particular suspension, we're going to put the big airbag up on top. We've been doing air suspension since 1994. Each vehicle you learn from, so this is going to be the latest and the greatest. With all that extra weight that's going to be on the back, we just put a piece of 2x2 across on the inside of the frame that holds the weight, keeps it straight. We're using this piece of 2x3 box tubing just to simulate the bag fully compressed. So when all the air is out, that's how big the bag is. It's 3 inches. It's pretty nice. So we got our simulated bag compressed here, our lower bag mount. So we're just going to make the brackets from the bag mount to the axle. Push the back. Yeah. That's hard. Yes, sir. Oh. We're looking good. Hangers are on. 4 links on. Now we got the bag mounts all mocked up. My man Jamie's gone to the Panhard bar shock mounts, and the rear suspension's wrapped. Hey, one little last puzzle piece of our rear suspension is the Panhard bar. Since we don't have leaf springs anymore, we have a 4-link. So the Panhard bar is that solid point from the frame down to the axle, and locates everything nice and center and keeps it really, really strong for cornering.
Okay, last piece of the puzzle right here. Ta-da!
Let's go up and down real quick and we'll check it out. Man, Jaime, it's looking good. I don't foresee any issues with this.
Yeah, man, this suspension's definitely going to be a lot better than those leaf springs. Handle, work, and have a good ride.
Definitely. On a really big truck like this tanker, the airbags are a no-brainer. It just gives you a way better ride. However, on my golf cart, it's an entirely different setup. Because this golf cart's going to be really fast and able to do wheelies, we're going to go with coilovers in the front. So when it comes down from the wheelie, it absorbs all that weight and that bounce.
You want to spin it around?
Ryan's bringing his team down from the East Coast to help put it all together.
We got a call from Ryan or Bill at Extensive. You know, my first immediate response was that this is fake, like someone has called you messing with you. Bill did not just cold call us to talk about a golf cart.
Once we found out that the build was a go, we laid out a game plan to make this trip to Houston.
20 hours later, 2 truck breakdowns, we're in Houston. We're ready to start working on this golf cart.
We just got the frame back for powder coating. First things we're going to tackle is the front and rear suspension. One of us will be working in the back, one of us will be working up front. That way we can get everything going from the ground up. Building a golf cart is not much different than building a car. You want to start off with a good frame. You got to get your suspension set right and make sure that you have a good stance. You always want to make sure everything's safe before you take off on these things.
We're about to assemble this long travel suspension for the front end. It's just going to make the car ride better, have better articulation on the suspension. This build's a big deal to us, and we're putting a lot of effort into it because when you get a call from a client like Bill, I mean, he's a legend. It's an honor to get the opportunity to build something for him. I know he wants the best of the best, and that's what we're going to give him.
This cart comes factory with leaf springs and a solid axle across the front. So when you swap over to a long travel, it gives you 8 inches of adjustability for it gives you more rebound. For this particular car, we're going to go with a 70-volt lithium battery. It's going to give this car incredible torque, so it will lift the wheels off the ground. So these coilovers will help with the rebound as the cart comes back to the ground. This just all around is a much nicer design than the original equipment that came on the cart.
So similar to a truck, we're going to do the rear lift on this. We're going to use a 6-inch lift block in the back. With a heavy-duty spring, this is going to give us clearance. That way we can shove those massive tires up underneath the body.
You know, over the years, Extensive's done our share of engine swaps. The one thing that we haven't done yet is go electric. So Ryan's saying the lithium setup that we're going with is going to be putting a ton of torque to those rear wheels. This cart's going to be able to wheelie. You know, I can't wait to see this.
Let's talk about the muscle in this cart. We're going to be installing a 5 kilowatt AC motor and controller. It's 75 pounds of muscle. So this is a 3-phase electric motor. These are way more efficient than a DC. They actually get a lot better range too, especially paired with a lithium battery. Most golf carts have 3 bolts holding the motor on. Because this one makes so much torque, we're going to be adding 6 volts to this total. That way we make sure we don't snap anything off when Bill goes to pop a wheelie in this.
All right, so for this build, it started out with 36 volts of lead acid batteries, which is very old school. We decided to go to a lithium battery setup, and we chose the 70.4 volt eco battery. One huge advantage to run a lithium setup is weight. Lead acid batteries are roughly 50 pounds a piece. This battery is about 125 pounds total. That is a huge advantage, and then you're almost doubling your voltage. So way less weight, way more power.
So you ready to grab that big boy?
Yep. Bigger is better.
You are in Texas.
It's secure.
Well, now that we got the battery all installed, we get everything wired up. One of the main reasons we build cables is because we can custom create links for everybody. That way we can shorten on resistance and heat. Cables are all your power to your motor and controller. If you don't have good cables, might as well not have anything at all. So the very first thing we're going to be hooking up is our small cable. This is going to be running from our solenoid output over to the controller. And the very next thing we're going to do is start running motor wires.
All right, we got the power hooked up, ground's hooked up.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to hook this one up, and then we will see if we are completely wired and ready for juice. All right, I'm powering it on. Let me do this. If it beeps, we're good. All right, we got power.
We're making an independent front suspension and a 4-link rear suspension on that 53 tanker truck. You know, we got the rear all mocked up. Now it's time to get on to the front. So we got our cross member established, the height that it needs to be. We got our wheel tire all mocked up. Look at that, boy! All we're gonna do is come from pushing to the ball joint, and there's our mocked up slow control arms. That's that. Man, we got a long, good stuff. You know, we got everything mocked up. This is exactly the size that it needs to be for everything to play nice. So we need to get going on building the lower arm. We need to cut some pipe.
All right, we're going with the 1-inch Schedule 80, or?
Man, I'm thinking 1.25 inches. We're gonna make it all out of 1.25 inches, Schedule 80. So everything's nice and strong.
Ooh, first time on the machine. I'm so excited.
The real advantage with this is that the arm is really, really long in this setup, so we have plenty of room for a big airbag to handle all that weight. All right, we got our lower control arm on, we got our spindle in place, we got our frame nice and level, we got our measurement from the upper ball joint all the way to where it needs to land on the frame. So I'm going to take that measurement and just make an upper control arm. That's it, man. Forward M's. I love jobs like this. This is what, but it makes it fun. You know, when jobs like this come about, that's not repetitious. Yeah. That, you know, it has a set goal and there's no specific way to get there. That's what I love doing. One down. This is going to locate the top part of the spindle so it holds everything in place. Yeah. Go down and up a couple times. Let's see what it's looking like. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. You know, that nice, perfect alignment. All the way up and all the way down. I can't stand when people drop the air out of the suspension and the wheels go, yeah, that. No. It takes time to make that perfect.
Definitely.
You know, as a fabricator, I'm pretty much known as a control freak. I try to keep my eye on everything all of the time. Ryan, what's happening, man?
I'm just sitting here working on your car.
That's just the same when things aren't at the shop.
Got the new powder-coated long travel kit on. Everything's installed. Coming together real nicely.
Nice, man. That gets me excited. I'm ready to do some wheelies in it.
Man, I can't wait to see y'all do some wheelies. I think it's going to really surprise you.
Yeah.
Hey, while I have you on the phone here, let's talk about the body, man. This one that you have is nice, but it's a little outdated. I was thinking maybe we could go with a new store body. This is going to give this car a much more edgy look. It's street legal, high beam, low beam headlights.
Ryan, man, come on. It's just a golf cart.
It's never just a car, man. This is a representation of yourself. I can't just give you a stock looking golf cart. You know what's better than doing wheelies? Looking good while you're doing wheelies.
I can't really disagree with that, can I?
While we're talking about that, though, if we could do the body, we should probably go ahead and put a custom interior in this. Full custom dash, maybe throw in some lighting, custom seats, really take this thing next level.
I see your point. You know, I've done my share of pushing the customers to go a little bit bigger on their builds. If we're going to do the new body, man, we might as well, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
And man, once you're on the other side of it, you know, it's kind of hard to say no. Go ahead and get me hooked up on it then, man. I'm anxious to see what you guys can do.
Yes, sir. We're on it.
All right. Talk to you later. Man, he got me on that one. Get this template for the bag mount real quick so Jessica keeps making them. You know, we always try to measure twice, cut once. That's even more true with the size of everything on this old tanker, not to mention the price of metal these days. We're just wrapping up the front suspension now. I love this, the instant gratification of just things coming together quick. The next step's going to be placing our airbag. So we got our upper bag mounts. We got our 3-inch spacers simulating a compressed bag. We got our suspension bottom totally out. So this is where the suspension needs to be when there's no air in it. So all we need to do, put the bag mount in place, weld it in place with a couple of gussets, bag mounts a wrap. So we're on the last part of our front suspension, shock. What I'm doing right now is making the upper shock mounts. It's gonna be a 3-piece deal. 1 piece with my shock's gonna go through. Then I'm gonna have 2 gussets on each side. Once it's boxed in, it's gonna be there forever. Boom. I'm just transferring this pattern to my flat bar. Once I get these cut out, I'll be able to assemble the upper shock mount. I'm gonna go ahead and sand it, give it that nice slick look, and I'll clean it up some, just go that extra little bit to make it look nice. You can see the before and after. This is fine. Most people would, just let it be. Not here. We gotta do an extra little step, get everything nice, clean, cool looking. Anybody can do this. Not everybody thinks about doing this. Gotta go up there. It's the same to me. Yeah, no. We gotta take out like power room. Alright, we gotta take cutters off. Yeah. Chin on the 53 tanker. We're ready to drop in that big old diesel engine. Just try to be easy across that little lip right there because we don't got nothing to balance it. This 12 valve is a lot bigger than the inline 6 the old truck rolled in with. So there's not much room to maneuver, even on a truck this size. We're good right there, Ryan. That motor and transmission is like 5 foot long. No, I think it's even longer than 5 feet. Alright, come on in. That's the longest combo I've ever put it in. Good. What's up? On the builds that are physically as big as this thing, every step is just that much more consequential. You don't want to have that all in a bind right there. Yeah, we're going to have to do a little trimming. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? We need to get this big old engine mounted, modified, and running. Alright. Bring it down a little bit. There's still a lot of fabrication, including the custom stacks, an interior, and audio. And man, we hadn't even touched that trailer yet. It's level? Level. Heck yeah. Alright. It's a long road, but it's going to be worth it. It looks really good right there. It does look good. It looks right. One of the cool things about custom is that anything can be custom. The team is ready to install the new body kit. Fits like a glove. Nice and flush. Looks good. It's definitely gonna be mean. All right, give me a hand with this. This is not a production dash. This is a one-off dash. It's wrapped in the exact same material as his seats are. This is gonna look really good once it's wired and everything is lit up. Is it bad that I'm jealous? I don't even have a dash that clean. You know, it's real cool to get the big builds in, you know, the ones that just command your attention. When you pull up somewhere in just a massive vehicle, everybody is looking to see what the heck is going on. Who's pulling up in here in that big old truck? Every vehicle's different in the design process. You know, whatever the scale is, you attack each and every project individually. But everything about a big build is just bigger. You got to really watch what's going on. All the wrenches are bigger. All the nuts and bolts are bigger. You know, the wheels and tires are bigger. Just everything is not only bigger, but it's heavier also. You know, those are the builds that I just love the most because be different. To have that personality come out, to have that coolness factor magnified on a huge scale. We're transforming those from something that's really nothing into something that's show-stopping. When you're doing an extra large build, that's just extra ways to make it extra cool. You know, a few weeks ago, my golf cart wouldn't even run. But it's come a long way. Everything is coming together. The lithium batteries, a new bigger motor, seating, handmade dash, lighting, audio, and a custom body kit. And today's a big day. Ryan's gonna drop it off at my house.
When Bill brought this cart in, it was old, it was outdated, it was underpowered. We changed all that. It's been a lot of work, it's been a lot of fun, lots of hours, but I'm really excited. This cart has turned out awesome. Hopefully when he comes out and sees this, he'll be blown away.
Ryan called me, told me to come outside, and then I see it doing a wheelie. What? Man! I can't believe it did that. Man, that is cool. Man! That looks so good. What's up, man?
What's going on, man?
That thing looks beautiful. Is that the same one, right?
That's the same car, man.
Everywhere I look, there's something brand new on it. I can't believe it's got that much power to... You in it doing a wheelie?
That's a lot of weight to go up in the air, baby.
Man, I tell you what, this gets me excited. A golf cart doing a wheelie, that ain't something you see every day. And then just the total transformation of, you know, new body, new wheels, tires, the lift, it looks good. This thing is cool, man.
Man, I'm glad you like it.
I like every bit of it. Tell me, what'd you do to this?
Man, what did we not do to this? We took this thing down to the frame. It's all brand new. Had everything powder coated. Started with new suspension.
Yeah.
Double A-arm with coilover. It's going to give it a much softer ride.
Yeah.
Especially when it's coming up in the air and slamming down. You don't want to be sitting on spindles, man.
You know, I definitely wasn't expecting that. Have long travel with coilovers on the front of my golf cart. Love the stance of, man, the wheel track and everything. Just the way
on 23s, we decided to go ahead and bump it up and get you a little higher, put some 25s on it. We did space the wheels out about 2 inches with that lift. We also widened the back, make it a little bit more stable. It's going to ride a little bit better, have a little bit more tire on the ground. This is definitely going to be the meanest one in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
This is the new store body. This is the gunmetal metallic. We wanted something that was going to pop against the aluminum powder coat that we did on the suspension and frame.
I love the color of it.
This has a full street legal kit in it. You got running lights, turn signals, horn, hazard light. This can make you street legal in Texas so that y'all can ride this on the street.
Man, the kids are going to love this one. You know, I didn't know how bad my old golf cart was looking, but now the new body's on it, it looks like it just rolled off the assembly line. Man!
Well, it had to look just as good on the inside as the outside.
This is cool, man.
We got you a brand new set of FS2 seats. These are super comfortable. We went ahead and had them bolstered. That way it'll hold you in place when you're popping wheelies. We had to transition down to the floor. Got you a new floor mat. And then that way we can come back up into the custom-made dash. You're the only one on the planet that has that dash.
So this ain't something you buy?
No, sir. That is custom-made. Nobody else is going to have that. That's a light, man. Hey, if you're riding at night, you got to be able to see, bro.
Ooh, that looks good.
Hey, not very many golf carts have interior lights, so that's pretty cool.
That looks good, man. I see. Tell me what's underneath here.
This is where the magic happens, bro. That is a big 70-volt, 105-amp-hour battery. That is not your normal lead acid. We cut half the weight of the old batteries out and doubled the power.
Man!
This is one big contained lithium kit. This is what's going to put the power down to the new motor and controller. This thing puts down massive amounts of torque and produces speeds up to 30 miles an hour with normal batteries, but with Bill's battery, we'll achieve speeds up to 50.
Man, I'm blown away, Ryan. Man, it looks It looks cool. Normally, I get to give a customer their car back. I'm not used to, coming outside and really getting excited like this. Man, you guys killed it on it, man. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome, man. I hope y'all enjoy it.
Definitely. Man, I'm gonna go get the kids, man. They gotta come see this.
Well, y'all have fun.
Appreciate it. My cart was just sitting in my garage for the last couple of years, just broke down.
Whoa, is this the old golf cart?
Same one. You believe that?
Can we go for a ride?
Let's go. I'm glad I was able to take it to Ryan. Ready?
Squeeze.
And him just transforming this whole cart. Hey, Golf Carts Modified, they just came in, stepped up, and just built me a hell of a cart. Ride's good, huh? All right, Cleve, come on. Come on, Cleve. Me and the families, and a lot of good times in this cart. About time we get our golf cart back, huh? We need some stacks.
Nice bright chrome.
Exactly. It's really going to wake it up. Kind of jealous now. I'm really liking it.
This is our 37 Ford.
We're going to go a little backwards on this one.
This customer is going to take this beautiful 37 that's complete and go back with a factory style.
Yes, it is. The customer tells us what they want, and it's up to us to figure out how to make it happen.
Oh my God, Bill.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Try to pick it up on that side. Here at Extensor, we're always trying to figure out a smooth path, right? When something don't work up. So here we are. A friend of mine needs some help. His trailer's built improperly. He called me. Hey man, can you help me out? Watch out, Wally. We're super busy, super backed up, don't have time to do anything, but a friend of mine needs some help, so we're gonna help him out. Pick it up! Get ready to jump off if you need to get off the forklift. If it goes all the way over. What you gotta do it? Cut all his axles off.
You gotta cut them off?
They're too far back. Terrible. There's never a set path from A to B. Getting the job done, start here, finish here. You get a job like this, you think, we could have put this up on horses. We could have spent a lot of time blocking it all up and working underneath. But the easiest route is just going to be to flip it over. And you think we're crazy, but hey, we got to do it the most efficiently. At the end of the day, all that matters is getting the job done right. And whatever you got to do to make that happen, we're going to make it happen. Getting it back over is going to be fun. On this build, we got to cut the axles off and move them forward. On the next build, it's going to be something else. We're in the business of making things work. The customer tells us what they want, and it's up to us to figure out how to make it happen. Got a call from a guy that has a 37 Ford, needed a little work, so I thought I'd just jump in the van, come see what's happening. Rick.
How you doing?
Hey man, good morning. This the one we're talking about?
This is our 37 Ford.
I know you get a lot of looks with this one.
Yes, we do. People always hanging out their windows at us, waving us to stop.
The 37 Coupe was a really popular car that a lot of people customized. How long you had it?
Just got it.
So you bought it as is?
Yep, haven't done a thing to it. Always had a dream to drive a coupe, but after driving it, we found there's some things that don't quite fit us, so that's why we gave Bill a call.
So what's the main issues that you have with it?
Well, I'd like to go back to door handles on it. I've always had in the back of my mind that if the key fob goes dead, I won't be able to get inside of it.
I see your point there, but man, taking such a clean, smooth car and putting a door handle on it and retaining the flames, you want to keep the flames on it?
We could, yeah.
Finding that right handle is going to be the challenge to keep this clean look.
That's why I gave you a call.
Most of the time we're shaving door handles, taking off that bulky hardware and just making it slick. This is just the total opposite.
Let me show you back here what other things that are hard to work with for us. The license plate. I want to get that up.
Yeah, that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Especially as low as this car is,
yeah,
right?
The old knees and arms don't work that good anymore. So I really do kind of like the older style back to the rat rod days. My hopes was to put some factory looking taillights back on it, and then the
Rick, you want to take this clean, smooth, flush mount LEDs, you want to scrap that and put the factory tail lights.
I guess that's what it's going to end up happening to be, but...
Right. On a car like this, most of the time, that's one of the first things to go is the big tail lights that hang off the back. But I see your point here. If you got to have the factory looking light back in it, we're going to find something that looks real cool and going to fit the car very well. This car, you just don't throw any door handle on the door. The same with the tail lights in the back. That all plays in together. When you add one thing, you can't just add another thing randomly. That would just completely destroy the look of the car.
See if I can get the doors open. I wanted to show you some stuff that's really needs a lot of work.
You got a really clean interior in here, except for that steering wheel.
I donate that to you if you want it. Turning the corners is not very comfortable. It's hard on your thumbs. You get stuck in that 37. I'd like to go back with a banjo wheel if we could.
Definitely for this car. It looks cartoonish. That's customizing gone wrong right there. This is a whole lot of one color in here. I think maybe a little piece of polished aluminum around to tie everything else in together, and even bringing it up on the door panels itself. Contrast on the dash and the door panels is a must on this. I think it'll really wake it up and give you a little personalization there too. Make it yours.
Sounds wonderful.
They say in life it's small things that count, right? Well, in custom, it's the small things that just drive you crazy. Like a job like this, just put some door handles in it, picking the right handle, putting it in the right place, and then making all the mechanism behind it. You need that mechanical part of it to work every time. It turns that little bitty job into something very, very time consuming. The worst thing we could do is check off that list, everything you want, and just, having that eyesore right at the end that your eye just goes right to, like, oh man, that was a terrible decision. That's definitely what we don't want to do. We want everybody to look at this car and go, man, these guys did
What's happening? They said you wanted to see me?
Yeah, man, gonna need your help.
It's a beautiful looking 37. So what we doing? Maybe a little buff, maybe a little wet sand,
Well, we're gonna go a little backwards on this one.
Backwards meaning?
He wants to put door handles back in the car.
Door handles?
He wants to make it a little more user friendly for you. You already know, hitting that remote, it don't work every single time. Yeah. And he just wants that reliability of just going and opening the door. You got to come with it on this one.
I see that.
We're going to try not to damage the flames and have to have somebody come in and touch all that up.
Cool, so we just need to be real precise, measure twice, drill once.
Right.
And make sure we're on point.
Not only that, there's some other things too. It has the smooth LEDs in the back.
Yeah, they're dope.
He don't want them. He wants like the factory tail lights put back in the car.
Like factory with the arms and the steel and the...
we're not going to do that. We're not going to go with the actual factory tail light, but more of a factory style look. So it's up to us to come up with something cool, license plate.
This customer is going to take this beautiful 37 that's complete, and we're going to go ahead and put some factory handles back in it, and then get rid of these beautifully flushed LEDs and go back with a factory style.
That's it. It's still going to have that clean, smooth look, still have that style.
Hell yeah.
As far as the exterior, that's it. It's on you on that. The next is John Burgess. He can get with it on the inside. It looks super smooth on the inside too, but it's a little plain, so we're going to wake it up and make it cool looking for him.
Right on. Well, what about that gaudy looking steering wheel? That thing there is rough. It looks like a birthday cake, like car on the bottom with the I turned 37, blow out your candles.
That is somebody's bad idea right there. That's one of the first things got to go for sure.
So yes.
Adding all the things back on the 37 coupe that we need to add on, it's a little bit of a challenge to use those factory parts but still make it custom. There's no manual to this, so we're going to do what we always do, figure it out.
The customer wanted that old retro look. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fit some retro style lights in here, but still keep the slowly recess these lights so we can get it in that hip and then go ahead and mold it in and do a little bit of fiberglass work. And that's where the fun is gonna begin. The toughest part about doing a job like this is getting the taillight to actually go in the hip without going too far out to the outside of the body and going too far in. We're gonna go ahead and sand out about 4 inches all the way around. That way that allows our fiberglass and our cosmetic repair to bite. So once I get this basket all sanded off, it'll allow us to get a good adhesion between the panel, the basket, and the fiberglass. Cool. That looks really good. Uh-oh. I bet you the battery's dead. But if we only got 1 to 2 minutes working time, that means that hardens up like pretty quick.
Just get it in place and put some tape on it until it sets.
So declamp time 5 minutes.
The project like the 37 Coupe, it's proof that every build has its own set of rules.
We can figure about 1 inch out on the bottom.
I mean, that's good. There's just going to be a big gap now on the top. It's all, I help you place it in the second coupe. Jamel did a real good job of cutting the holes, getting everything prepped. We're ready to actually mount the light in the hole. The only thing left is to make sure everything is nice and straight, vertical and horizontally. Put it on this side so it kind of balance it. How we're going to do that is I'm going to put a piece of aluminum tubing across here with a couple of pieces of tubing as a spacer clamped to it. I've already taped the light kind of where it goes. It looks pretty close, but if that tubing butts up to the light perfectly flat on both sides, you know they're 100% true. Man, Jamel, we know it's on the money because there's no
guesswork. This jig that you built's amazing.
Exactly. You know, there's no way you can go wrong with this.
Hell yeah. So everything's lined up perfectly. We're gonna go ahead and put some panel bond in here and get these things in here secure. The reason why you can't weld metal to fiberglass. So what we're gonna take here is some 2-part panel bond. It'll lock up quick. That way we can go ahead and move the jig and continue to build this beautiful 37. All right, cool. Now that we have our metal basket for our retro taillight installed and solid, thanks to our panel bond, we can go ahead and start doing some fiberglass work. The fiberglassing process is fiberglass and resin and then the mat. I'll take the mat, I'll cut some little pieces to where it fits around the taillight and fits nice and clean to where I like it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill in where we had to make the hole and add structural integrity on the back side. I'm gonna put a couple of layers of glass in there to make it solid. I don't want no shrinking, no stretching, no cracking, none of that crazy stuff. So while I'm underneath doing structural work, I'm gonna go ahead and remove these beautiful LEDs and do the structural repair on the back side too while we have the car up in the air. Now we're just gonna go ahead and pop these bad boys out. Once the repairs are done, it'll look like there was never any LEDs here. Alrighty, cool. Now we'll cut up some more strips of mat. And then we'll mix up some resin and we'll fill our holes. We're gonna go ahead and let this cure for 24 hours and then tomorrow we'll do the cosmetic side of it.
One thing about this shop, there's always something going on. And there's always something up next. So while the coupe keeps going in one bay, right next door, we're trying to knock out one of the biggest jobs we ever done. That tanger truck. What up, Clevey? What up, Clevey? What up, Carlosi?
What's going on, Billy?
Man, I'm getting excited about the old tanker. A while back, this antique oil tanker pulled into the lot. It's a 1953 white pulling a 1951 Fruehauf tanker. And it's made for a huge project. We've done a bunch of work to it already. And the front suspension's done, the rear suspension's done. This thing was built before there was power anything, and it's really hard to drive. So we started building an independent front suspension, and out back a heavy-duty 4-link with air suspension all around. The diesel.
Oh, yeah.
We're replacing that old wore-out engine with that 12-valve Cummins. This new engine should produce about 3 or 4 times more power. Next thing is getting everything mounted, building the motor mounts, building the transmission mount. Once it's all mounted, everything's mocked up, the firewall's all cut out and mocked up, we can blow it all apart. We can paint the engine just a bright red, man. Really wake it up. So it looks like a hot rod semi.
So I gotta find some of that dress-up stuff, billet, chrome, whatever, we can put on in there and
definitely
really set that red off even more.
When you pop that old hood, I want you to see like some bling underneath there, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
Sparkle. We need some stacks coming out the back, going up each side. Big flat tops.
Nice bright chrome.
Exactly, man. It's really gonna wake it up.
So that sounds like it's all the front. What about that? The trailer part?
We're gonna need a bunch of parts for that too, man. Of course, we're gonna need a bunch of wheels and tires.
A whole lot of wheels and tires.
Right.
That's gonna be a good order.
Once we take everything out, we're gonna need everything new. A new axle for it, the bags, all the 4-link, the Heims and everything. We need all that to build all the rear suspension.
And a lot more airline.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Right.
Let's make it happen.
Cool.
Come on, Clete.
Well, all right, y'all.
So we have the Cummins mocked up. Now Jamie and Ryan are going to figure out how to mount it.
What is this? 4-inch. All right, so the original way that this motor mounted up is it's got this mid-mount here. It distributes the weight equally. Usually we'll go underneath the rear and make our little just mid-saddle that goes underneath the transmission. We can through-bolt it that way and, connect it with the pipe. But with the way that this is mounted here, it's not going to really work that way. It's going to have 2 separate transmission mounts on this one. Same concept, just split. This is kind of cool. It's a tanker truck, first of all. It's an old tanker. And now we're putting, more of a modern motor that's just as big as the old one, but, different setup, different geometry, different power, and all that. Boom, shakalaka. It's kind of cool being able to do stuff like this. Not a lot of other people can go to work and, get to use their imagination to make it work. We'll get this guy tacked in here so it don't move around. Doing stuff like this is cool. We get different stuff all the time. It's not the same repetitive crap. Now a little bit. We get a better weld with there. It's a cool part of the job, Perfecto. I got a cool idea. We can do it like the Bronco over there. The little piece that goes right to the corner of this, so it'll grab the top and the side. That thing, it would be so much stronger like this, since we don't have anything that we're going down to,
That's a good idea.
Because you know how much this thing's going to rattle. And it's like
these things shake.
Yeah, they shake bad.
All right, I'm going to go cut 2 6s just to start out so we can get that tacked in. Let me tack it on the bushing. I like it.
You can do the same with the bottom, because we got so much room down there.
Man, these motor mounts look great. It's got 2 good solid anchor points on it. The motor's gonna ride right there.
Strength is there for sure.
Yeah.
Style is cool though. Now everything flows from front all the way to the back with the tubing and the same bushings and everything. I like it. If it was mine, I'd be happy with it. Now that we got it mounted, next step is to fit this big old motor underneath the cab. So this motor and trans setup is a lot different, as you can see from the cut into that.
I think it's just this corner right here, just like from here over.
That's a wood floor. Just take the wood out, because you're gonna have to rebuild all that anyways. Jamie just got done cutting the floor out. Should be enough. We're gonna lower it down, make the cab to the frame, and Then we can start all the inside sheet metal work. All right, that should be good. Oh, it's a lot of motor in there.
No way.
Yeah. That's all motor.
Where are the pedals gonna go?
Even though that 53 tanker is just so big, that engine and trans combo is just way bigger and wider than an old engine that used to be in there. Looks like a winner. So Jamie's gonna rebuild the firewall and floor.
So sometimes doing sheet metal, you're gonna have to go around things. For instance, this bell housing. You know, we can't move this, and right here, this is where our pedals are gonna be. So I'm gonna have to make this as flat as possible, put my sheet metal as tight as I can, but still have some clearance against the bell housing. You know, I gotta think 10 steps ahead before I start laying everything out. That's not gonna go in there, that's gonna go up. Split this. Break. Hold this piece down here. Now that's just gonna have to be it. That's not gonna work. Man, that sucks. I'm gonna have to cut that. Initially, I'd planned to make like a pocket right here, but you know, things don't work out all the time. It just looked good one way, but it felt different once I put my feet down and check everything. So I mean, it's kind of like I have to do it now. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut some more of the floor out to make different transitions and pieces on this. It's gonna be a lot better for carpet. It's not gonna be less of a lip for your foot because I don't want any kind of obstruction between the brake pedal and the gas pedal. You know, this is fabrication, adapt and overcome. You want to ready to do it? In there?
You ready to do it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You know, it already has the curve on it, so
yeah.
We'll just figure out where this fits the cab.
Yeah.
And that pretty much establishes
that's what we're working with. Come up right there.
One of the really cool processes of making this old 50s truck into something a little more modern is the chrome stacks. It's not only going to look cool, it's going to create even more flow for that diesel exhaust. It's always good to get in a project like this where you get to do some cool new things. One of the first things we're going to do is mount the brackets on the cab, establish how far our pipes and everything are going to be apart.
I'm about the center of the pipe right here.
55 1/4. Then we can come right out the turbo to a big T, and then from the T to 2 chrome 6-inch pipes going all the way up the back side of the cab and over the tanker. We got our measurements from our brackets on the cab. Now that's established. We get our measurements here. That's got to be 22 1/2. The next thing is modifying the big T that comes out. We need to cut 1 inch off each side.
Blanking. Right to hang a stack.
See if our calculations are correct.
It's pretty solid now.
I don't think it's gonna fit.
Nope.
Might as well go ahead and cut it. You know, since we got this clamp hiding the seam here, we're gonna take these down and weld them together so everything stays nice and straight. We got a piece of 2x2 extruded aluminum clamp to the table. When it's touching all the way down, you know it's laser straight. Super smooth, clean, really small weld is what you want on here. with the 24 valve Cummins, new front suspension, automatic transmission, power steering now. Man, with the stacks, that just completes the whole look. Kind of jealous now.
I like it. I'm really liking it.
You know, I've been really thinking about it a lot of which handle to go with on this 37 coupe. Trying to find a mechanical handle for a door that's this skinny and still having the window operational would be super tough to try to make all that work. So found this online that works with a key fob. So when you walk by it, the key fob is going to sense it and automatically pop the door open like that. So you got a nice grab spot. But we're still going to put a safety mechanism in the door. So if anything fails, you still have a pull cable that you can access, you know, in that secret spot that nobody knows about. You know, the little tricky part on this is just putting the handle in the right spot. You can't put it too far back because it would end up in the door jamb itself. So finding that cool little spot where everything works right is key. Nice and straight right there.
Get out of it.
Do it to it.
Cool, get it knocked out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make a little pattern of the actual handle itself because I want to cut my hole smaller. That way I can slowly open it to where my handle fits perfectly. When doing this right here, it's a one-time process, so there's no room for error. That's gonna leave me about 1/8 of an inch to where I can slowly file it top and bottom to get a precise fit. So when I'm cutting this, I just have to make a good, clean cut. It's got to be perfect. So it's got to focus. It's all about clearing the mind, getting comfortable. The more comfortable you are, the better work it will be. Now we got our hole all cut out. And what we're going to do is we're going to make us an access hole right here on the back side. A little window that we can get in there and work. So we can remove some of the fiberglass. You see the thickness? What we're going to do is we're going to knock that to about half its size. In order to achieve that, we'll just take the angle grinder to it on the backside. So it'll allow our door. Once again, we'll be bonding metal to fiberglass. So we use panel bond. It's a 2-part epoxy, which we use in the rear. So we'll use the same stuff here. We got our handle in. We got the panel bond on it. Now we're just gonna let it set for 24 hours and then we'll pull it off and do the cosmetic on the front side.
You know, we've done a lot of leather and woodwork in our interiors lately. But on the coupe, John's gonna mix it up a little bit and put aluminum in the dash.
Right, easy enough.
Just gonna break up that leather and give it a cool look.
The dash is gonna be somewhat of a retrofit. I'm going to start by taking some measurements off the dashboard here, get it in the computer, get it laid out, and from that point I'll be able to lay out my design and the ideas that I have. Program's set and ready to go. I've got some aluminum locked up in the CNC router. Hit it with a little bit of lube. If we don't do this, the aluminum will gall up in the bit. It'll start chattering, get chunks in it, and mess up your part. And off to work. This being aluminum, you only get one chance. You can't go in, body fill, and repaint. It's either right or it's wrong. So I have to babysit this one, running good and on track. But once it's done, the part that's going to come out of this machine will look perfect. Nice gooey mess. So the CNC router's done its job. Everything's cut out and ready to go. That's going to be cool. With this being aluminum, I didn't want to cut all the way through and have these pieces come loose and go flying around, so I stopped just before I got to the bottom. So now I'll take a jigsaw, trim it out, go over to the hand router, real quick run around, and these parts will be done.
We finished the custom air suspension on that 53 Taker. Now to give it a huge modern upgrade with that power steering.
What we got going on right now is we're taking out the old hydraulic steering. You know, We're trying to bring it back modern where everybody can drive this truck. You get this thing, you're not gonna have to fight that big wheel, nothing like that. So what we're gonna do is gonna put rack and pinion, power steering in this truck. Got this sighting down, that's my drop down to hold my column up top. We got our collar right here. This is gonna locate the bottom of our column. It's very important to get this right. So our steering. Right now I'm just checking to make sure my column's straight. That's sheet metal work. I can make that any way I want to, but this right here, I want to make sure it's parallel. You don't want to be driving and the steering will be like this or this, so make sure everything looks true. I'm happy with that right there. I mean, when you're doing something like this, you need to think 10 steps ahead. You know, I'm gonna go from the rack right here with the knuckle all the way to my column right here. Obviously, I have a clearance issue. I have two options. I can go ahead and put another joint in there, which is going to be more material, more things combined up, or I can go ahead and just remove part of the motor mount, get my steering linkage completed, and then I can go ahead and fabricate something around my steering linkage. I got my steering linkage in, from the collar, all the way down to the rack and pinion. Next thing is go ahead and start making this motor mount go around my steering linkage. So I'm gonna get my angle finder, get somewhat close to the pitch I want. Once I do that, take an exhaust machine, gonna bend it. That's our arch. Go ahead and chop that down. Go ahead and cope it. Once I cope it, it's gonna fit nice and tight on this bushing on the motor mount. Okay, so I got it in place now. Go ahead and shape it out just a little bit with a little heat and beat. Mocked up. It's time to blow this thing apart, take the cab off, take the motor out, get this thing to powder coat. We're clear right there. All right, go back. Go back. All right, now bump it. All right, you're good right then. So now we got the cab off. Go ahead and start slicking down this frame, weld up what needs to be welded. Then off the powder coat we go. Come in. All right, right there, and then side shift right.
The 53 Taker is back from powder coat.
1, 2, 3.
With everything coming together, we can finally install that freshly painted Cummins. This new engine is a big step forward with many, many more to go.
All right.
There's still a whole lot of work to do on this old truck. We need to get that cab back on the chassis.
There you go. 1, 2, 3. All right, we gotta go to the front.
It still needs a custom bumper.
It needs to go back now. It's pretty freaking close right there, though.
Interior and a whole lot of metal work to do on that trailer.
You want to come down a little bit? Yeah, that's good right there, dude. Keep going.
Big jobs like this take worth it, because when we get it done, it's one of one. The nice part about being this busy as a business, even as one job still has a lot of work to do, another one is almost done. John's finishing up one of our last big pieces on the coupe, the door panels.
Going through a few ideas here and making a decision on which one we're going to do. Once we get the base idea down, we'll let the machines cut our pieces out, and then it'll be up to us, get them all shaped in, put together. Kind
kind of nice to be able to get your base drawing on the computer. You still have to be building it in your head. How are you going to put it together? How are you going to wrap it? How's it going to finish out? So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it other than just lines on the computer.
Take this. This car has so much curve to these doors in all directions. It's basically just one big concave bubble. So in order to get all this shaped in right, we're going to get it glued in place and body work with it on the car. That way it'll hold the shape, because if we just do it on the bench and body work it flat and try to put it on the car, it goes bad.
I'll body work and sand. Like everything, it'll take time, but it'll be worth it.
Yes.
After all the fabrication and body work on that 37, Jamel needs to mix that paint to that exact color to match the rest of the car.
So we'll use a dark gray, a gray, and a light gray. That'll give us 3 different shades of red. We'll do one of these 2, which this will give you all 4 different sealers on one card. I'm gonna spray on 4 of these cards, take them up to the car, and figure out which one is the closest match to our automobile. All right, looks like we got a match. So this one's it, it's over gray sealer. So the next step is we're gonna finish prepping our car. That way we can get in the paint booth and get this thing painted. We're gonna make us some sealer real quick. Take our mixing cup, mix us some sealer. Oh, it's just so it gives us a seal substrate. So I'm gonna go ahead, I got the sealer in the gun. We're gonna go in here and we're gonna put a coat of sealer on our panels, and then we're going to come back with our red base coat, dust it out, and then clear the panels. After a lot of searching and being through different shops, Extensive is home. Here's where I can be creative. Here's where the magic happens. The custom paint world, it's different than the collision. You break all the rules. They say spray a tack coat. No. Oh, you only can put 2 coats of clear or 3 coats of clear. Oh man, forget about that. Shoot it the way you want it to look, because that's really how you're supposed to spray it. I know for myself, when I do something, when I do one project, I'm my own worst critic. Now, I've had people tell me, oh man, that looks really good, you know, and I'm like, man, I think it could have been a hell of a lot better. I beat myself up bad, but the reason is because I want to excel, you know, I want to be the best. So in order to do that, you have to push yourself all the way through. No shortcuts, no cutting corners. Producing the best is what's expected. Nothing else is acceptable. Nice. Perfect.
We've done a lot of work on this already custom 37, you know, from the tail lights to the door handles to a new interior. The customer said it just wasn't right, just wasn't what he needed. So we've addressed all those issues that he had on his mind and got him hooked up. Now it's just right. Hey man.
Hello, Bill.
You can really tell there's a place in his heart for this car, and I can't wait for him to see it. Come on.
Oh my God, Bill! I'll believe it. That's wonderful. I've waited 40 years to see something like this.
40 years, huh?
40 years. I started building one back in the 80s and I lost it. I gave up on a dream of having it for cruising, and you made it. It's here. You did it. I can't. I'm a little lost for words now.
Let's get a closer look.
Great.
You know, I can kind of understand where Rick's at on this. Losing something early in life and finally that can bring a tear to your eye for sure.
Oh God, Bill. It's perfect. The taillights, you can see them, yet they're molded in. It looks like an old street rod.
Yeah, you wanted to put the factory style taillight back in, so that's what we had to do. But I didn't want to just put the big taillight that hangs off the back of the fender with the stem coming off, so we decided to mold them in. You know, still have that factory look, but it's all custom.
It's definitely the 30s style of the fenders. It's street rodded, or if they use that term anymore, but it's just slick. This car makes me feel like a kid again. I'm going through my third childhood, and this is going to fit right in with it.
You know, one other problem you had was that low license plate bracket, so we got a nice retractable one now. So you hit a button and it just comes up and out.
Oh, that beats the heck out of reaching up underneath.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that anymore.
It's perfect.
The hard thing is taking such a nice car and modifying it and not detracting from it. You know, like the door handles itself, picking that right handle to go back in a really clean car.
They're sleek. I was thinking of my old Chevy door handles that would catch your coat, and
right,
I could get in and out of this without worrying about something sticking out. Would be.
It's still an electric door handle, but if that doesn't work, you still have your safety release underneath, so you can pull and actually get in the car. You don't have to get the brick out and smash the glass. So.
Oh my God, Bill, I had never dreamed that they could ever look like this. It was so
creamy.
It was creamy. Now it's got character.
John Burgess knows how to wake something up. He fired up the old CNC and cut out a piece of aluminum.
Oh yeah.
And he can stand off the dash with the two-tone in there. That just really, really comes alive once you do that.
It does. And the door panel looks solid. Before it was just hanging off there.
Oh man,
a lot of work went into it.
Definitely. You see one thing missing too, right?
That thumb grabbing steering wheel. You guys hit it right on the head with that.
Man, it looks good, and not only good, it looks classy too.
It's classy, definitely.
Getting a car in like this that's already super slick, modifying that to the customer's taste, you know, that's always the challenge, especially something like this. Man, I really appreciate you trusting in me, the company, to add to your dream on this.
Bill, it's been in my heart, and you nailed it. I couldn't have dreamt any more than what this turned out. Long time ago, I was hoping for something. It's everything that I'd ever dreamed of, Bill. My kids are...
We're finally ready to start the tanker itself.
They didn't say this is empty, right?
This your rolls, huh?
This is it. I want you to tear everything out of this car and make it perfect.
Man, we got some work ahead of us.
A little more of a job than we anticipated, but ain't nothing we can't handle. Classic look, new style.
We got one other thing to show you.
Whoa, look at that!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Man, we got a lot of stuff doing that tanker, man. Got a lot more to go. I wish John would come in so we could talk about it.
You rang?
Man, you got a buzzer back there? A John buzzer?
All right, what do we got to do?
Man, we got a lot of work done on the semi so far. We got all the air suspension on there, you know, the independent front suspension, big 4-link in the back, the control arms, we got the shocks, got all that handled. We dropped the engine in the truck, got the engine mounted. We had to cut the firewall, make it fit, rebuild the firewall. Got the stacks on it, it's all stacked up.
Nice. I saw it sit in the shop the other day. That thing's looking mean.
Yes. You know, we finished the steering, got it off, got it powder coated, painted engine. But we still got a long way to go.
All right, what we got?
The console needs to be built, so we're going to need some material for that.
New carpet, headliner, seats, fresh it all up.
Yeah,
do everything to it.
Let me know what materials you want, the colors. I get that all ordered out.
All right.
You know, the front bumper, we got to get that all mocked up, so we're going to need some steel for that. The truck's looking good. We still got a big job out there on that tanker, right? Yeah. You know, the old air brakes, the old springs in it, definitely not going to work. We're going to cut all that out. Start with a brand new 10,000-pound trailer axle with electric brakes on it. So anybody can get in that truck and drive it and not have to worry about sliding the truck sideways, right? Brand new 4-link, huge 4-link, big bag, so it'll handle good, ride good.
And a lot of airline coming for that.
Man, there's a ton of airline.
That thing with big stacks laid out on air, just
big wheels,
everything about it.
Man, they're gonna be blown away.
It's gonna represent their company, our company. They'll look good.
Yep.
Riding in the parades.
You ready to get it? I'm ready.
I've been ready.
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
All right.
All right, man. I'm gonna get it. Right. Oh yeah.
We'll do. How many times have we do that?
I think this is the oldest tool in the shop. It looked like this when I was a kid. You know, after all the custom parts we made for this tanker, we can't just be having that factory bumper. This is the bumper that came on the tanker. It just takes away from the whole design of the whole truck. So I had Jesse burn me some plate, 12-inch by 7 foot, and we're gonna roll it just a little bit to give that nice curvature to the front of the truck. Man, I think we're good with that. What we'll do is transfer this onto a plate, and that'll be the bottom of it. So that's gonna hold everything nice and straight. Plasma? It takes a very steady hit. You want me to show you a little trick? See that right there? Yeah. Drag your hand now. That's super slick. The piece we rolled is not perfectly consistent. So we just cut one side, flip the perfect template.
Ta-da! There you have it. Here's our nice radius. It's the same on both sides. Now got everything ground down, cleaned up. It's gonna be a nice, clean surface well tube. Okay, so you can see the piece I just got done cutting and cleaning. Added it to the piece that Bill and I rolled. You can kind of start to see already it's starting to shape up like a front bumper.
That's pretty good.
We're gonna make that work. One of the last steps for the front bumper is capping the top. I want it to fit the curvature of the body and around the grill, so it looks like it was made that way. And right now I'm just making the template out of chipboard so we can transfer it over to our 3/16 thick metal. All right, we have to fine tune it once it's metal, you know what I mean?
Before we cut our 3/16 top plate for the bumper, we're going to go ahead and make a template out of sheet metal. It's more rigid. It's going to give us a better placement for exact marks we need to cut so we can get corner to corner and get it tight in those fenders.
Let's go this way a little bit. It's a lot easier to modify the 20 gauge. There's a perfect template out of the 20 gauge, so now I'm going to trace it out on the 3/16, so we only have to do that one time. About to do a little test fit, which we already did with the templates. We know it's going to fit, so we know it's going to look good, so we're about to tack this piece in. It's fitting the body perfectly. We've got that perfect 1/4-inch gap all the way around. Our next step is chop the sides, cap them in, do the final welding, sanding, ready to paint.
Good job, buddy. Gold star of the week. Come on in a little bit, right there.
Ooh. Hey, it ain't quite as heavy as a 40-foot, but it's got some weight to it. You know, while we're finishing the cab, we're finally ready to start the biggest part of this project, the tanker itself. Man, trying to get this big old thing in there, for some reason, somebody thought it was a good idea to put a lip right outside that door. We're getting it in that shop one way or another.
We're going to watch it roll over.
I hear you.
All right, make sure don't buckle this. Let's buckle the stand. What do we put it on the dolly?
Push it my way, too.
I am.
All right, hold up. Make sure you got an eye on this thing. If it starts going, get up the way.
Just let it fall.
Here we go. It's got to stay straight now. Hey, hold up.
How far we got?
Man, we got 6 inches until it hits that blue box on the top of the roof.
Is it in the hole?
I need to go back just a little bit.
Here you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Scary?
Yeah, I'm nervous around you.
You got it. You good? Come my way.
Fix it, come down the ramps. Nothing behind me. Might have a little slide going on.
It might take them.
There it goes. I was off the ramp.
Coming. Right there. That's it.
I mean, that don't remind you of the barbecue pit truck.
It does.
That was a close one. Always like the excitement around here.
It's not bad.
You know, before we can make the air suspension on this 51 tanker trailer with this heavy-duty 4-link setup, I asked Ryan to tear out all the old suspension first.
We just got the rear end cut out of the trailer. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna get all these brackets off the frame.
Oh, yes, it keeps right off.
Just get ready to start building my hangers and doing some suspension work.
Hey, they did say this is empty, right? Damn, that's gonna be torqued off. That sucks. They put a lot of weld on that.
I found a split where the frame cracked, and that's why they have all these scab plates here. So I'm just gonna take it completely out and start fresh. The scab plate is just used to join two pieces of metal together. So we decided to cut it out, put brand new rails in there. By doing that, it ensures 100% certainty that this thing is going to be perfectly sound whenever it gets on the road. So I'm using these plates to just keep this frame rail straight with this rail. That way when I weld it and grind it, it just looks like one solid piece. Got my rails tacked in, and now I'm just gonna go cut my cross members, throw them in there, put a little weld on them, and go grab that axle out there. So as old rusty rails are out of the picture, it looked like crap, and it's not really in our best judgment to let something like that leave. When it comes to doing patchwork, it's way better to take the time and do it right and ensure ourselves that's not gonna come back and we're not gonna tell them.
We're ready to build the air suspension on this 53 tanker trailer, starting with the heavy-duty links.
All right, so we got our 4-link brackets made up. We'll get some good hard measurements. Get some tabs tacked onto the rear end. As of right now, it looks pretty good. We're 4.5. By mocking out the link arms, I'll be able to replicate the ones for the other side. Now that we got it to this point, all we gotta do is add some tacks, and then we'll transfer it to the truck. Throw that there for right now. Getting jiggy with it. I like to put this washer on the inside there before I put my Heim on. That way, after it gets painted or powder coated, it still fits in there without having to wedge it in there and chip all your powder coat off. I don't even remember where I learned that at. That's where I need to be. 4.5.
Fred.
Bill, pleasure meeting you.
Hey, nice to meet you. This your Rolls, huh?
This is it, 1964 Rolls Royce.
Man, it's a beautiful car. I mean, the body style is just iconic. I mean, when you see that come around the corner, you know, hey, that's a Rolls. So why a 64 Rolls?
Well, I owned a 64 Rolls Royce before. Had to sell it to keep my business going. And I always promised myself when I made it, I'm going to buy another 64. And there's only one guy I wanted to do the job, and that's you.
Man, I appreciate that. You know, you can see a couple little issues with it. You know, is that what you come in for, is just paint?
Ground up restoration. I want you to tear everything out of this car and make it perfect.
So Fred, you want us to take this handmade car and even make it a little more handmade?
It'll be Bill handmade car.
Right.
I know you can make this drive and run like a new Rolls.
We've built a lot of vehicles over the years, but this is the first time we've ever built a Rolls. You know, these things were classy and fast for the times, with a 6-liter V8 giving it 220 horsepower. Any Rolls is a hand-built car, but when it comes to totally tearing it apart, we're going to have to hand make a lot of parts to make this project work. You know, one of the first to have you riding on the air, to have it comfortable, you know, like a new one.
Yes.
It's not going to sit all the way down on the ground. It would just take away from this iconic body style. You know, the wheels and tires, you have to pick the right one for this car.
I'm leaving all of that up to you.
You know, I see a couple things concerning, bodywork popping up on a couple spots. Probably need to blast it and really see what we're working with.
There's no question that you're going to have to do body work on it.
Just looking at this car, it's a 1964, and it's definitely showing its age. The bodywork's popping up. You can tell it's going to need a lot of metal work. What are you thinking as far as paint colors?
I like that new Porsche blue where the silver is.
So you want a two-tone?
I want a two-tone. The two-tone's important on this car because Rolls-Royce always was two-tone back in those days. They made a few all-white ones, but the two-tone made the body style stand out.
What you got under the hood? What you working with under there?
Well, I think it's still the stock 64 Rolls motor.
Oh man, it's a little rough under here. Fred, you got a boat?
No.
We got a boat anchor. Putting a big rumbling engine in here definitely isn't the way to go. It would take away from this iconic car.
I'm going to leave the motor up to you, Bill. You prove what you think is best for me to be.
Definitely in with some new interior on something like this is really important. So what you got going on in here? Man, right-hand drive, huh?
Got to switch that over immediately.
Left-hand drive. It looks like the dash is, mirrored, so I don't think it'd be much trouble to be able to do that.
What's iconic about a Rolls is the woodwork in it. And you see the seat back wood trays. That was the thing to have.
It looks like the wood's in good shape, but as far as like the rest of it, I don't think there's no saving it.
I agree with you.
The interior is like half of this job. It's a big car with a lot of interior, and a lot of details are going to have to go in this. I mean, you always compare to a Rolls interior. This is actually a Rolls interior.
And a Rolls is a Rolls is a Rolls.
Yeah. Everything else in here, 100% brand new. New seats, carpet, door panels. Get rid of the rag top. Maybe even putting the new Starry Light headliner in for the new Rolls.
That'd be great.
Basically have that new Rolls feel in this 64.
That's why I'm here. I've built a lot of cars in my life. I want this one to be the masterpiece.
Man, we'll definitely get you hooked up with that.
Can't wait to sit in the back seat of this car and have somebody cruise me along.
There you go. Well, let's go make it official.
Okay.
I can totally relate to having to sell a vehicle to make payroll or buy that next part of your business, whatever the case may be. I've been in that same boat, but Fred's new Rolls, he ain't getting rid of that. He made it. Of course, I say this quite a bit, but it's a big challenge. We don't know what's underneath all that paint and bodywork that's there. We got to take it apart and blast it. Surprise, we'll see what comes in. But one of the biggest challenges is in the interior. Making this car look like and feel like, smell like a brand new Rolls, that's coming with it on that. Rolls has always been setting the standards for the rest of the car industry. It's always been one-off, one at a time, hand-built parts and pieces. It's made with pride and just made with that passion. That's exactly what we're going to do here. Hand make every part and piece with pride also.
What, are you waiting for some of that fancy mustard or what?
Looking to see if I see anything good in here.
Looks pretty rough.
Man, we got some work ahead of us. Look at 2022.
Classic look, new style.
We're going to touch on every point of this car. We got a little bit of wood in the interior.
Yeah.
Everything else, you're going to get.
I got some parts.
Yeah. A lot of parts to be looking up. I mean, seats, door panels, dash, carpet, headliner. We're going to weld up the rag top. Everything.
And we're going to have the new technology in it too?
Absolutely. Anything that's cool, we want to put in here. It's right-hand drive just because that's the car he found. But he does want it left-hand drive.
Well, if I own this car, I wouldn't be driving. I'd be sitting right here.
Right.
This is where I'd be sitting back, enjoying a nice cocktail being driven around.
Well, he wants to look at the guy driving on the left-hand side. Finding the right wheels and tires.
The vintage, but the newer?
Absolutely. This isn't just something you call up the local parts house and tell them to deliver it.
Well, I'm going to have to try and get some contacts over the seas and see what we can find on that.
I got faith in you.
So does my mom. As far as the suspension goes, are we air riding down to the ground? What are you going to do to this?
No, we're not trying to get it all the way on the ground or anything like that. It will have some adjustability, but the main thing is ride quality. You
you want it to ride on a silver cloud, right?
Yeah. And then as far as the paint goes, are you doing a two-tone or are you going to say single?
Man, I think we'll have to do two-tone in this. I mean, this body style, it's made
from factory. Do we need to find somebody to maybe come in and take care of that for us?
Man, for sure. Really want the best of the best in here. You know, under the hood, we don't want something really loud and obnoxious.
So we're staying away from the superchargers?
Not for this project. He ain't trying to burn the tires off. He wants something quiet, but still has a lot of power.
Yeah, we're going to need a lot of power for this big boat.
Most definitely. We're about to see how good the new parts guy is on this one.
Well, I wasn't born when this was made, so we're definitely going to have to see what's out there. So I'll get with John. We'll put a game plan together. I'll find what I can find, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good, man. I'm ready to get at it.
Let's do it. I'll call your driver.
No matter how classy this Rolls once was, most of that class was from long ago. So we need to tear it all down before we can build it back up again. You know, from my experience, the more handmade a vehicle is, the way more work it is to tear it down.
Guess what? I am going to touch everything, so... Guess first thing is we'll figure out how this seat comes out. They're hand-built, so who knows how the hands built them. Stuck over here. Bolt right there, and I can't get it done. I ain't even got the first piece on this dang thing yet. I was excited, but now I hate it. Guess what? The trunk smells just as bad as the inside of the car. Still no room for activities. All the trim in the car is made of wood, and it's neat to look back and see all the effort that went into these things. This window trim is one solid piece of wood. This is probably one of the most impressive pieces that I've seen in the car so far. We may need that for later purposes. Don't let there be anything alive in here. We'll be good. Kid gloves still need to be used somewhat. We don't want to just go tearing into it and tear everything apart. I want to make sure I get this thing nice and safe so they can get the cutting on it.
Alright, so John pulled all the interior out of this car. And I've been summoned to separate it, tear it down the rest of the way. So that's what we're gonna do. Dude, this is gonna take a year. Man, technology's come a long way. That emergency it yanks on there and puts tension on this, and then it pulls that this way, and that arm goes that way, and that arm goes that way. I'm serious, I'm not making that up. Pretty cool standing underneath these old cars and seeing how far we've come. So cool that we're gonna do away with it completely and never look at it ever again. It's cool, but we start fresh, clean slate, and make our own stuff and see if maybe we might be able to engineer something that's cool as this. There's a big old grill, the emblem. You see all that, you just know you're in the money. Well, not this one. I mean, this one's pretty janky, but we're gonna make it nice again. Look at that. Been on there for 97 years.
Now that we have the body off the frame, we're gonna send it out to Media Blast. Now it's time to find out exactly how much work we got in front of us. At the same time, Ryan's finishing up the suspension on the 51 tanker. John's going to get...
The center console, we've got to have room for our shifter. We'll make a boot for that. We've got our air ride control for the truck. A couple of cup holders, because got to have someplace to put your drink when you're riding around. So what I did is I just put a stop in here so I can set this in the truck and I don't have to worry about these things popping up. And it'll keep the same height so that when the console is done, these will still fit in there. Basically, just going to take these things, carry them over to the truck, start placing it around, figure out how we're going to get it all put together. So just make me a template of the floor here. Once I get the template of the floor, I can start laying out the pieces for the console. Once I got those laid out, I'll have the profile for the side of the console, and I can start with that profile and build from there.
Now that I got my chipboard template all lined out where it needs to be, transfer it over to this 1/4 inch, turn this into a router template. We'll take that router template, make a couple pieces, and we'll have most of a console. To the router. That's that. Alright, I'm gonna glue them together. Nail them up. Now, a bit of mud work on this, it'll almost be ready to wrap. Center console for the tanker is all done and ready to go. So next step, get it wrapped, get it in the truck, and kick it out the door.
Now that we have the 4-link on the tanker, Jesse's going to burn out some plates so Ryan can get going on the lower back brackets.
Tack that here onto this lower back plate. We'll tack the other one the same way. So on a project like this, obviously everything is going to be a one-off part. This isn't anything that we can just go grab off the shelf. This is basically like the coolest part of the job, is getting to just build something from nothing, seeing everything come to life, and seeing everything work. It's just like a little puzzle, or like a big puzzle, actually. So I'm taking this square right here and just kind of running it down and just making sure everything lines up right. This one's kind of free floater right now. I can move it around as I like. My spacing is never going to change. This one looks good. I got it pretty much exactly where I want it. I'll tack this one in and our bag brackets.
You know, back in the day, this tanker was made for hauling heavy loads, but now it's really just for show. Either way, this truck is still a heavy piece of equipment. With all this weight, we're going to use a lot bigger airbag than we normally use. So right now, Ryan's finishing up the heavy-duty upper bag mount.
So we're about to make our upper bag brackets now. We'll use these two 2x3s to brace the top of it, keep it very strong. And we'll take our D plates, we'll get them here, we'll center them, we'll figure out our measurement, and line it up, and then chop off our end. That way everything flows at the bottom. So after we get done with that too, I can make me a plate, just give it some character, do something here, or figure something out. Now damn, it's cooked now. Up here, we're going to get it welded, tack it up into the trailer, and weld it all the rest of the way out. You know, this could have been anything. This could have been very simple, or this could have been way more over the top. But this is the best part of fabricating, is I get to use my imagination and just come up with something what I would want in my own vehicle. Well, that looks cool.
The 64 Rolls is back from the media blast, and just as I suspected, it's bad. It's real bad. Because I had a feeling it was going to be this bad, I called in an old friend, a fabricator with skills to rebuild a Rolls Royce, my buddy Brandon Cisco.
Hey, Bill.
Man, Cisco, how you doing, man?
Good.
My son, Boston.
Nice to meet you, man. Nice to meet you.
And that's the helper you're telling me about?
Yeah, that's why I decided to bring him with me.
You got him qualified?
He's certified. He's been doing this since he was like 5 years old, so.
All right.
He's good.
All right. You like sheet metal work?
Yep.
Well, good, because there's a lot to do on here, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's been sitting in pasture for a long time.
You know, this car was bought out of Beverly Hills. So you were thinking, you know, we were going to get a pristine Rolls Royce and just modify it. Dude, we need a mess right now.
It's more like Beverly Hillbillies.
Right. You know, one good thing, we're not worried about factory body mounts under here, because even those are damaged. So we're going to build a full chassis for this, so it doesn't necessarily have to go back with replicating the factory body mounts or anything. So I need your guys' help on this.
A little more of a job than we anticipated, but ain't nothing we can't handle.
I think that's every job we take in.
Everyone.
Overly exaggerated, under anticipated. But I know you guys can handle it, man. I know I got the right team on the job.
Come on, man.
All right, man. Let's see what you got.
Looks like some of the pasture's still in it.
All right, so we got that piece off now, and just like I thought, there's a third layer we didn't see before. Instead of having 2 pieces to repair, we have 3 pieces. I've come to realize that rust repair is just an ongoing process until you get down to the good metal, and sometimes that good metal isn't there, so you have to replace the whole part. Well, this side looks even worse than that side. You can actually count the layers like tree rings in here of all the repairs, as each layer would rotten through. Hey, come over here, check this out. Those are original drain holes. If you push this back, you can see that's an original drain plug. They got covered over with somebody's repair. Nobody ever cleaned it. Let's keep going. Back in the day, these cars were hand-built by some of the best craftsmen in the business. They'd be rolling in their graves now they saw how people were repairing their dream work. I'm literally pulling these panels off with my fingers. So whoever did the last repair on this used pop rivets, no welds, no nothing underneath. It's a very low-budget way of attaching a panel. I think we're both down to the original metal.
Yeah.
So now where the flanges are off of these main braces, see the edge of the flanges?
Yeah.
Cut straight through and then cut up to the floor, about a ½ inch down from the floor.
All right.
It's embarrassing to a fabricator to see somebody go back over your work and just kind of cobble it up like this. All right, now I need a minute to evaluate what's next. Now I can see everything. All the layers have been taken off, so I can see where to start at the good metal, which with very little love still, but there is some. We've got some reference points of where the new rocker needs to be at the back of these flat couple patterns, and then keep this from happening again to the next guy that comes down the line 30 or 40 years from now to repair my work. He won't laugh at me like I did these guys.
You know, the 64 Rolls Royce is definitely what I call a ground up build. You know, and right now, we're at the basement. Cisco and his boy Boston are gonna add back all that integrity into those rockers. You know, it's a lot of work, and you probably won't notice it when it's done, but we can't do anything until it's done.
Yeah, look at it. Lining right up. So we got the new rocker panels fitted to the car. They fit the floorboards, they fit the inner floor bracing. We're pretty happy how they fit right now, so we're gonna go ahead and get them into place, finish welding them up, and move on to the outside rockers. So working with my son's great. He's been out with me in the shop since he was 2-3 years old, because I never told my boys, any of them, to not play with any of my tools. I would show them how to turn it on, show them how to use it, show them the proper safety. I didn't even start doing what I do until I was 15, so he's got about a 15-year head start on me. So I can't wait to see what it's gonna be like the next 15 years. Oh yeah, a lot better. 100 times better. It's pretty solid, but it's not welded to the floor yet. So we're going to hammer down the floor to match the new flat panel we just welded in. So as I tap it down, he's gonna go ahead and throw a couple of welds on there, and I'll move down and I'll just keep hammering it down until he gets it flush all the way across the bottom of the floor. So now that we get this panel in, pretty happy with how much it strengthened up the bottom of the car and how straight it looks now and how it fits real nice and tight. Door sill plates are savable, but we need to replace all of this outside rocker piece. So we have to cut all these spot welds out, get this old rusty chunk off of here. So using the air chisel to take the spot welds off causes a lot of waviness in the metal. You can't really hammer and dolly it with all the welds in the way, so I knock those off the grinder real quick. Then I'll go through my hammer and dolly and straighten up this edge to the proper shape that it needs to be at for the new panel to weld to it. Got some pretty big rust repair to do in this front corner. I don't even have a word to describe how bad some of this stuff looks. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut this chunk out of here too and just fabricate a new front piece as well as a new back piece for this corner right here. That is all Bondo. So that's another person that prepared right over the top of somebody else's body color with steel. It's like a ham sandwich. It's really weird. So I will be also cutting this corner off now. Let's dig into this center pillar and see what it's like. So working on a project like this, you really can be overwhelmed by the entire project at once. You really have to focus on the structural part of it first. Get yourself a good base to start with.
You know, when I was first getting into this business, I never thought we'd be building a custom Rolls Royce. But here we are, in the early building foundation stages. You know, there's many, many more stages to go and many stages after those stages. This build's going to be one of those to remember. But as one begins, another one is almost on the road. Ryan's finishing up those last bits on that 51 tanker.
Everything nice that we've done is being just taken away by all this crap that's left on here. We're not going to let it leave like that. So come up with a real simple plan, fast, easy. Take some 1 by 1 and run it down this whole section here. And then we can take some sheet metal and bend it, get a nice contour, and then we can rivet it in up here as well. And you'll never see any of this ever again. You'll just see 2 smooth, nice panels coming down, and it will just hide all this stuff here. Here comes the javelin. So I put this 1 by 1 up in there just so I can see where it's gonna be. I made some marks so I can come in, grind it up so I got a nice clean surface to weld to. Right, so we just got our metal rolled. You see we got our contour that we transfer all of our lines that we've made on this small template here to the bigger sheet. Once we have the brakes in, we can throw it up underneath the trailer and see what we got. All right, 45. You know, doing this sometimes, you know, it does take a little bit longer. It does take a little bit more effort, you know, but at the end of the day, when you step back and look at the finished product, it's always better to go the extra mile and take pride in your work. Thank you, sir. Now that we got our pieces made, all we gotta do now is trim them to fit the trailer. So on the passenger side of the trailer, there's a bunch of hookup, other kind of stuff over there. So we're gonna trim around all that stuff to where we can slide these things in there and have the nicest, cleanest look as possible. All right, so we got our panels in place. We wanna make something that covers this void right here. Keep air from wanting to go in there, make these things wanna shake. We'll just take our chipboard, throw it on up in there, and also kind of clean up all this back here that we don't want anybody to see. Yeah, that looks better. Just gonna transfer it to some metal. Bango, bango. I got a nice pair of hands. Using a straight edge makes it much easier. You have like the straightest line that you possibly can get, and really no cleanup. I got it transferred, cut out, everything looks good. Take it over there, throw it up there. If it fits, it ships. Like a glove. Love it.
I never do anything the same twice, so I'm just always learning. That's the original undercoating on the original panel. I started off building model cars, actually, and I never built the model car that came in the box. We would get 3 or 4 kits, and I would just mix and match them all together. All right, we're good. Got into high school, got to thinking about starting to drive and things like that. My dad said, if you want something to drive when you turn 16, you're going to have to look now and get something and build it yourself. At the time, I'd never even changed a spark plug or nothing. I was just just doing model cars. So I had big dreams of this big giant step-side Chevy truck. The way I bought that was I got a lamb, a sheep, and I raised it and I sold it at the fair and made a pretty good penny on it. My dad said that some family members had a 76 Chevy step-side that needed a lot of work for $600, and I started working on it at 15 years old. I'm 47 now. I'm really pushing myself to become the best at everything I can.
All right, so everything's done with the trailer. It's all painted, powder coated, and everything. It's time for assembly. Start off. I've learned how to work by myself over the years. That's why you always grab 2 nuts. No. So now that the bags and the tank and everything is starting to come together, it's all mounted. But this will go into the tank and it'll give me a supply out to my valves. There's a little water separator to keep the water out of your bags and everything. And then you got your pressure switch on the other side, which tells the compressors when to turn off and turn on. And this will go to my Pack 80, which will also get mounted on here, along with our battery and breaker and everything else. Yeah. So now we got compressors and tank, we got bags. I can mount my valves now. And then once we get our valves mounted, then we can run some air lines.
And it's been all hands on deck on this truck and tanker, but we're almost there. Airlines, new frame covers, the stacks, getting this 12 valve Cummins running, and we're ready to give this one back.
Hey, Bill, how's it going?
How y'all doing?
Good to see you, man.
Bill called us and said our trucks are ready. I'm the owner of the company.
She trusted us to bring the truck down and put, Bill and his team spin on it.
My butt's riding on the line.
A while back, Larry and Matt came down and dropped the truck off to us. The plan was to make it fit in with your fleet.
Absolutely. This is a special one, though, because we're going to take it out into the communities where we operate and take it in parades. The other trucks are working trucks. They haul our fuel, but this one's going to be a showcase.
Well, I know you're going to like what we did. So you guys ready to check it out?
Yes,
We're ready.
sir.
Let's
Absolutely.
Oh, my
gosh.
It is so awesome.
Unbelievable. Look at the wheels.
That's awesome.
The stacks, Larry.
What do you think, Larry?
It's gorgeous.
I'm dumbfounded, man.
Can we get in it?
Lynn's reaction was priceless.
She loved it, which was a good relief for us.
Her family is going to be shocked when they actually all see it together.
It's gorgeous.
Just knocked it out of the park.
Beautiful.
I think you're liking it.
The colors.
One of the first things you see when you're walking to it is the front bumper. We had to get rid of that old channel that was on there.
Bill had a great idea about making it contour to the fenders and the grill, stretching it out.
Yeah, it looks like it was meant to be there.
That just sets an attitude for the truck,
Absolutely.
right? Another thing that we did right off the bat is just rip out all the old suspension. We built independent front suspension, newer end, new 4-link rear suspension with
turn this thing easy.
And you have the hydraulic brakes now too, so anybody can hit the brake pedal and glide to a stop.
I think I heard you just say, I'm going to be able to drive it and feel safe.
That's it.
Awesome.
I know Larry's going to be really excited about this.
The big reveal, Larry. Oh, gorgeous.
Look at that, Larry.
Turbocharged 12 valve Cummins.
Yeah.
Automatic transmission. No more flathead in there.
Yeah.
How much horsepower did it have?
150 horse.
And this?
500 horsepower or something like that. We had to rebuild the firewall around that big old engine, and then went with the red paint on the Cummins.
She's got some AC lines going there too, buddy.
Yeah, we got you hooked up with that too, for sure. Of course, we had to add you some big old stacks out the back too.
I noticed them right when I walked in, the stove tops.
It ought to fit right in the yard now, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we might have to put this thing to work.
One other thing, I got to have you riding good on the inside too.
Oh, gorgeous.
I'm styling now, buddy.
Yeah, man. And power steering too.
A normal steering wheel.
Yeah.
New gauges.
Everything's 100% new in it. New column, new shifter, sprayed it, body color.
It just looks amazing.
Yeah, we've done a ton of work to this thing. We didn't just stop at the truck. We had to come on with it with the trailer too. As you're walking by, you see the new paneling that we have all underneath here. It's had its share of fixes from here and there. What we did is cladded the whole bottom. It had a big axle with a big spring pack and air brakes on it. We ripped all that out and put a 10,000-pound trailer axle with electric brakes, so you can drive it like a normal truck and trailer. Of course, we had to put some new wheels and tires on it to look cool. And not only that, a big 4-link rear suspension with the big airbags, so it's not going to beat you to death.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It looks so good. Your team did a wonderful job. The LED lighting on the trailer, everything looks great.
We got one other thing to show you.
What is
that?
it?
You want to hit it? All right. You're going to like this one.
Oh, listen to that.
It's a first for us. We've never bagged a tanker truck and trailer before, right?
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
From her late husband starting the company to where it is now, and from seeing the truck where it was to where it is now, I can really tell Lynn was excited about this.
Every time we showcase it, we're going to think of you all and this amazing transformation.
Such a big build like this, it takes everyone in the shop. I can't thank my team enough. We're going to get back to it.
Thank you
so much.
Wow, look at that.
So cool.
A big job.
Yeah, we can't thank them enough. It was above and beyond what we expected. And we